I want you to picture for a moment running a multi-six-figure online business that mostly runs on your favorite social media platform. You can be addicted from a place of scarcity, from a place of I need to do more because I need to earn more, or I don't know when my next sale is coming in, or I need to get back to messages instantly. I'm going to lose someone if I don't get back to them in time. There's not many things out there where you can earn so much indirectly and passively and still have a break, right? And I didn't get there overnight, but you really won't get there at all unless you have a business model that can actually allow that to happen and can enable that. You haven't earned the right to have more than that time off yet. Whatever comes up for you, whatever is taking up space as you journal these things, it is right. Don't second guess yourself. Witness what it is. Thank it for its honesty, see it with love, and thank it for showing up because there's a reason it's there. It's very valid. You wouldn't have that experience if you didn't take it away to then realize that, right? And then actually find the joy in doing your content and showing up and building your personal brand on the daily rather than it feeling like a chore or rather than it feeling like something you have to do versus something you actually really want to do. Picture running it and actually being able to take a social media siesta, a break from your phone, putting your phone down, not even needing to pick it up or check notifications or get back to messages, and still having things flow in your business. That to me is true freedom. And I want to talk to this and explain how I did this for almost 2 months earlier this year, whilst still keeping my business going. I didn't stop my business. I stopped the addiction to social media. I stopped the over scrolling time, the habit of picking up my phone all the time and not being fully present. Now, in order to explain all of this and how I did it and guide you on this, I need to start from the beginning in my story. And like, for the overachiever, for the driven woman, I know that's you listening to this. I get your messages all the time and I appreciate them so much. And I create these conversations for you. I know you have big goals and I know that you hear me say this and you have a bit of excitement, but you also have this feeling in your stomach where you're like, oh, but it's going to impact my sales. It's going to impact my goal. Oh, I want to do it, but I'm so fearful that, you know, the people that are booking in calls or the people that I'm in conversation with or that have my webinar right now, they're going to drop off, right? I will cover all of that. I'm going to cover all of your main questions in this episode, all of your fears around having a break from the very thing that pays you, having a break from the very thing that actually attracts your leads, your soulmate avatar, your dream team to you. Now, the reason why I got here and needed a break, and also why I feel you need a break, is because for the last 7 years, I've been building a personal brand on social media. I've been building a business on social media. Prior to that, I was in traditional network marketing and I was on social media. That's a long time being on social media, for about 11 years. Now, obviously, if you are over 30, you've probably been on social media since the time where it wasn't really that addictive. It wasn't that bad. Like, you know, back in the Facebook era, it was a bit boring, really, compared to what we have now. But slowly over time, it's not a bad thing that we are on social media creating. It's actually a really positive thing. It's such a positive outlet, creating and having that outlet for your brand and somewhere to be seen and to attract people globally to you. And also the other side of that is you can be addicted from a place of scarcity, from a place of I need to do more because I need to earn more, or I don't know when my next sale is coming in, or I need to get back to messages instantly. I'm going to lose someone if I don't get back to them in time, right? So when you actually take a step back and look at why you're on your phone so much or why you're on social media so much, it becomes evident to you that there's an energy behind it that could really do with with some attention, right? The energy behind your actions. Now, I've had multiple full breaks before from social media, from being available to my team online, all of the things, right? Both times it was when I had my second son and when I had my third child, my daughter. So both times I had 3 months completely offline, completely not working on my business, completely not available to my team, completely off my socials unless it felt good. Like I deleted the apps and I'd just post here and there. And it felt really good. It felt great. And also I was in a newborn bubble. So it's not like I was, on a holiday enjoying myself. I was, raising a baby, breastfeeding, up all night, all the things, right? So this time I wanted to do it to just genuinely have a break. I got to Legacy on the 31st of January. So beginning of this year, I was like, I had an event to deliver for my team. We did this big online event with incredible speakers, and I wanted to deliver that event. That event was, I think, early March. So then I went offline pretty much the week that we had that event, and it didn't come back on until late April. So I wanted to just gift myself some space, gift myself some time, because isn't that the whole reason we build an online business? To have space, to have freedom, to have choice. And it's why I worked so hard and for so long to get to a place of earning so much passive income. And it's why I believe in this business model so much, because there's not many things out there where you can earn so much indirectly and passively and still have a break, right? And I didn't get there overnight, but you really won't get there at all unless you have a business model that can actually allow that to happen and can enable that. So I had my break. I had my break for almost 2 months. I spent my days in the garden and going to the beach, and I had a weekly, goddess day where I was, really focusing on my health and things that I wasn't really allowing time for before, like massages, facials, laser, like all these things that I'd get done ad hoc, but hadn't really committed to. And I also was basically like cooking for the love of cooking rather than the necessity. I was making bone broth from scratch, which I do occasionally do, but I guess I just had more time to really do things based on spur of the moment kind of thing. I also, it's not like I was sitting around doing nothing. We were selling a multi-million-dollar house. We had shit on, right? I also have 3 kids, but I was able to be a lot more present with them and also work on my business rather than in your business, on your business. And often when you're in the trenches, you don't carve out enough time for that. So while I was offline, I also did the very iconic photo shoot that, iconic for me, not saying I'm an icon, but it was very iconic for me because it was a really big brand upgrade for me. It's the Rich Bitch photo shoot for this podcast for, initially I just was doing an upgraded brand kind of photo shoot, but it turned out to be an entire identity shift, an entire identity upgrade, and a whole new brand and direction for me. And I had so much time to plan it. I had the time, the space, the mindset. I did multiple Pinterest boards. I was like so organized with all my props. I had this amazing cake made. All of the things, right? My creativity was like on going bonkers because I had the space and the time. Now, I don't recommend that every single person at every level has a break for that long. My advice would be to start with 7 days. And that's what I'm going to take you through this episode, is some tips to have a 7-day social media siesta. I had people have incredible results when I did this free 7-day challenge recently, from just going offline for 7 days, purely just a week, right? Because if you're still building your business, I say this with so much love and respect, and also I love you enough to like really be honest with you. You haven't earned the right to have more than that time off yet. If you haven't built a truly passive income, you're not at that point yet. And yes, we all go through seasons of life. Yes, we all go through different things that can get us out of the game. Yes, you can burn out, and yes, you can be busy, right? But that doesn't mean that you fully stop because it's actually so much harder to go out of a business and out of your schedule and go back in. It's harder to get back into that like energy and into that flow. It's easier if you just take a small break, nourish yourself, what's the word? Like reset your energy and then keep going, right? You can still create magic if you're not 100%, in the perfect energy. If your business only relied on you being in the perfect energy all the time, you'd never make any money, right? Because like no one is always in the perfect energy. And, I love the book, The Four Agreements, because one of the agreements is always doing your best. And that means doing your best regardless of what that is. Even if your best is 40%, because you've had a death in the family, or you're going through a breakup, or you're dealing with some health issues, that's okay. Maybe 40% is all you can contribute. And that's okay. That is okay. What I'm talking about is I see this a lot. People actually stopping and having a big break. And then when they want to get back in, they say to me, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, or I've been out for so long. I feel like I've missed everything. I don't really know how to build the business or this or that, right? I mean, the driven, big deal, rich bitch era women that I, really resonate with and support on a very one-on-one, basis, they don't really do that, right? Because they know that it is going to take more energy to get back in the game than it is to just power through and reset the intentions and the boundaries. And so that is my first point is, what are your boundaries? Like, are you really burnt out because you've had shitty boundaries and you're back in your people pleasing era and you're just giving too much of yourself away? Or is it that you're busy because you're in scarcity and you're actually just really worried about money? Like, where is this coming from? Where is the bulk of the hustle and the being on your phone and social media too much coming from? Is it avoidance? Is it because you're scrolling and avoiding what you really know you should be doing and you're comparing yourself? If you had a hunch, if you had to pinpoint what it was, what do you think that would be? So I want you to just sit with that. Now, the other reason why it's good to have a break, apart from looking at that energy and why you got there in the first place, is really just the mental overload of so many notifications, so many chat groups, so many like things that you're on, so many apps that you're on, right? And I did a masterclass at the end of the year called Float, because I wanted to help people to float to their goals rather than run, rather than chase, rather than hustle to get there, but actually quieten all the noise, quieten all of the distractions and notifications and things that take you away from your goal, and just purely focus on your goal. So the mental overload and the notifications and the just distractions is the other thing. So how do you take a break without losing momentum? This was the biggest fear, the biggest question that came up when I did the 7-day social media siesta. Firstly, you have to look at where you are spending your time. Is it on content? Is it in the DMs? Is it notifications? Is it what are you spending your time on? What are you so worried about taking 7 days off? That's the first thing. And secondly, how can you either delegate or automate those things, right? So the bulk of people that I spoke with about taking time off social media were worried about their inboxes. That was the main concern was, well, my leads talk to me on Instagram. I need to be in my inbox. I won't be able to be on my inbox if I've deleted Instagram. How will I do that? My suggestion is Business Suite. So Business Suite as in SUITE. That is the meta tool for Instagram and Facebook business accounts. If you have the Business Suite, you can still access your inbox, but you can't access a news feed. You don't get notifications. You can still post content as well, but it's not as distracting, right? So the two options for your inbox is either A, going on Business Suite and still continuing your conversations, but not being on social media. B, being on a laptop once a day or something to get back to your messages. Or C, completely just being okay with a VA or someone being in your inbox for 7 days and fully actually doing this properly and having a break, right? Or just putting it out there on your social media that you're having a 7-day break, right? No one is going to die from you having a month. No one is going to die from you having a week off social media. It's okay. You are safe to have 7 days offline, especially if you know in your heart you need that reset. So the other way to have, I guess, a little bit more structure in having this time off and having 7 days without picking up your phone is looking at, okay, what other systems or automations do I need? Apart from my inbox, what else do I need? Do I have ads that are running? Do I need to set up ManyChat so that, people, potential leads, get an automated message that's strong enough to nurture the leads without me being present? What else am I spending time on that needs either outsourcing or automation? Also, will stepping back now undo all of the momentum that I've built recently? Do I need to, have some content go out so that I'm not, if you've just gone viral and had a bunch of followers, which actually happened before I went offline, the irony, I went so mega viral. I've never been viral like that ever before. And I was like, geez, okay, thanks God. You're really testing me on how much I really want to go offline by, me going viral. And I still did. And so I did actually have some content scheduled and a couple of posts went out. And then I was just like, you know what? I just don't want content for the sake of content going out. My heart is not in it. I couldn't give a shit. Like, I honestly was just like, I messaged my VA and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pay you to have a month off. Like, yeah, I still paid her. And she just had a month of not having to do content. So again, I don't suggest you do a whole month or close to 2, which I did. But even for 7 days, is it really a big deal if you don't post in 7 days? You only know the answer to that based on the momentum that you have before you go offline. So if you want to schedule posts, you absolutely can. Okay, can I still promote upcoming offers or launches if I take a break? Now, this was one that came up in my group Telegram 7-day, the challenge that I did. So I wouldn't suggest doing this before doing a launch or doing like a live masterclass or something like that. I would time this where you're not doing that. It's not really the wisest thing to do right before you've got an event or something. So I would do that first and then do your break after it, unless you have, again, systems and automation and delegation in place to have posts go out, for example, that are going to be promoting this without needing to be there, right? Where like you might have them scheduled and you might have a VA that responds to leads, or you might have ManyChat set up that responds to leads directly off a call to action post or something like that. The other questions I got were, what if I enjoy the space too much and I don't want to come back? What if stepping back doesn't reignite my passion? What if I actually just step back and I don't feel like ever coming back, right? And my answer to that is, well, what have you been avoiding that will come up for you in that spaciousness? Because often we keep busy because we are actually avoiding what we really need to address. What is it that you need to address that you don't have time to because you're constantly on social media, or you're responding to messages, or you're doing content, or you're doing all these things, ticking boxes and keeping busy? But actually, if you had the space and time, you'd be forced to feel how you actually do feel, but you're watering down or covering up because you're, in inverted commas, busy. Often I find busy doing things that aren't actually getting you results, but they're keeping you busy, so you've got an excuse not to face what fears and blocks and shadows you actually have to deal with. And so some questions I would suggest journaling on. What am I getting a fix of when I'm scrolling? What's the hit I get when I'm on social media? And you may already know this, right? Like when you pick up the phone, and you may do this 20, 30, 50 times a day, when you pick up the phone to open Instagram, what are you hoping to find? And what do you know in your heart you're avoiding? right? And whatever comes up for you, whatever is taking up space as you journal these things, it is right. Don't second guess yourself, and address them without shame. It's just being, a healthy sense of curiosity. There's absolutely no shame or judgment. Just witness it. Witness what it is. Thank it for its honesty. See it with love and thank it for showing up, because there's a reason it's there. It's very valid. It's a valid reason. Just like you would a child. If a child was like, I'm sad because blah, 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 you wouldn't be like, oh, well, that's a dumb reason to be sad. You would validate them and be like, okay, I understand that. Yep. You probably are sad because you didn't get the pink toy that you wanted. But you know what? It's not the end of the world. Thanks for sharing that. You would validate it, and then you'd move forward and either come up with a solution, or you would move forward and just literally move on from it, right? Let's do that with the things that are holding us back, because one of the biggest things that my Adelina, who was in the last episode, my energy healer, said recently on a team training I brought her on to, was we love to make meaning of things. We love to make things mean so much more and just make them bigger than what they are. We love to go. And so these questions that I'm asking you to journal on, by no means am I saying this is going to be the biggest deal in the world. You're going to have to go spend 10 grand on inner work and growth work and like, oh my God, just go and do an ayahuasca ceremony because like you are broken, right? Absolutely not. We're here to really uncover them and to be conscious of them and aware of them. I can't do that for you. Only you can do that for yourself. And the next thing to ask is, if I knew what I had to do to move through this and dissolve it, what would that be? So if I had the answer, what would it be? Because you have the answers. Everyone does know the answer. You just probably haven't allowed yourself the time to really think about it. So basically those two steps are, what are you avoiding by being so addicted to your phone and social media and being on there all the time? What's the feeling or the problem, the real tangible thing that you're avoiding? And then what's the solution to dissolve it or to solve it? So no one dies from you being offline. Maybe that's what I should call my next 7-day challenge. No one dies from you being offline, right? The first one was social media siesta, or put your phone down. Put your fucking phone down, right? You really do not need to be on there all day, every day. And if you are truly building a freedom business, if you want the business that I have, where it's multiple 5 figures a month passively, you need to learn to trust yourself. You've got to have systems. You've got to have things set up. And yes, it doesn't mean that you don't, really get going and put in the work and put in the action, but it means that you do need to have systems set up, and you can't burn out, because that's going to show up in your energy. So when I did the social media spaciousness 7-day challenge, I had 156 people in it who were all in online business. They all ran their businesses off social media. And I want to just share with you some of their feedback from these are successful people who all run their businesses, attracting or like running ads, attracting people through social media, doing content on the daily, in their inboxes on the daily, like, quite successful, mostly women who have personal brands on social media. Now, I'm going to read to you some of these pieces of feedback, and I want you to just feel into what you resonate with and if this could be you. Ash said, deleted all the apps last night, even my Telegram from my team chat, which I can still access on my computer after the kids go to bed. Did anyone else find it extremely hard today? What a wake-up call. Someone else responded to that, Courtney, and said, yes, I've realized how much I actually pick up my phone to check it. Definitely a wake-up call and wish I did it sooner. I've actually gotten more done today for myself. Now, that just one thing alone of the step one was for them to delete their apps and actually have, have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever social media apps deleted off their phone completely. Kylie said, I'm ashamed to admit it, but I feel like I've eaten my weight in food the last 2 days now. I have no apps on my phone, searching for that dopamine hit elsewhere, right? Because I was talking about the dopamine hit that we get from our notifications, from doing a post and seeing people like it or comment on it, or the views on our reels go up or whatever, right? Whatever you're checking your social media for. It's really interesting for that to become apparent to you when you don't have that, right? And so Kylie was, honest enough and vulnerable enough to share that. I'm only 2 days in. This is Jacqueline, 2 days in and already enjoying the detox from the dopamine hit. I was so bad at checking and clearing notifications. It didn't take up my life, but I was consuming my thoughts all day, every day. Day one, already had things. I've made notes that I want to share. Yesterday, I had moved the apps to the third page of my phone, but found I sneakily checked if there were any messages. Then I deleted them. See, we think that we can outsmart ourselves, right? But unless you delete them, you know where they are. So then she said, I now understand the time schedule of allocating time for this and not always being readily available. 2 days. I'm so glad I've done this. It shall become an intentional offline time to check messages and clear notifications. I'm scheduled the week's worth of content with a very sick child this week. It's been ideal. Okay. Crystal, this was incredible. I can't wait for you to hear this because Crystal is in my team. We work very closely together and it was just so beautiful to witness her in this. So she said, I have to share how wild this is. I've been in this business for 5 years, consistent always. I was so nervous doing this challenge despite having really solid systems. Call me a control freak, thinking without me doing nothing will happen. Since Monday, when I deleted all my apps, I've been in more conversations, more leads, and more engagement on my Instagram than in the whole 5 years, right? This is since she deleted her apps. My mind is blown. Since Monday, 25 new conversations, 10 webinars sent out, 20 new aligned followers. Instagram has gone from 13,000 views to 32.7 thousand views. My meta ads are $3.82 per lead. Now, bear in mind that we make between 3 and 7.5K per sale. So a lead at $3.82 is like a bonkers result. I've been sitting at my computer all morning and literally the moment I send a message or webinar out, another message comes in and it's only Wednesday. Thanks, Jessica Zalams, for creating this space to kick up the butt to do this. Right. So that was Crystal. Obviously, she's running ads and that is one of our strategies, but this is proof that you can still do that. And she was on her laptop responding to some of the messages. She hadn't outsourced her inbox. Then Jess, I started on the 1st of May, but for last few months, dropped my time online a lot and have space in my life has been the biggest gift when I joined this business a year ago. Creating for me, not from what I scrolled online, but actually creating for me. Time and space to be in my life and make my life better versus trying to please other people. I realized too, it's not actually social media. It's the awareness of our habits with this and in turn, where else it's playing out in our lives. For me, it's been making myself busy or using another vice in between versus diving deeper into myself and doing the real work. Already in the last few months, I've connected deeper to my partner, lost weight. I've been carrying more intentional with my daily habits, created better boundaries. My creativity has skyrocketed. I've got 2 aligned new teamies coming in, seeing gaps where I can be more supported and implemented that. So, and Jess is someone I also work very closely with who also did this challenge, and she had been actually scaling back her time online. And I had really been encouraging her to get systems up and running so that she did have that ease and flow, because she actually was attracted to this business because she came from traditional network marketing and was always in the hustle, always in the go, do, like so much work to earn money. So it's beautiful to hear what she got out of this. So then Kylie said, whilst this time offline for me has been magical in the sense of so much connection time with my hubby and kids, I've realized that I have missed creating, sharing, and showing up. The little micro moments of connections that happen on my social. I actually fucking love that part of what I do. Do I need better boundaries? This break reminded me how much I value my online space when it's intentional. What I haven't missed is the mindless scrolling and the constant noise, right? I love that she has realized this, because I also felt this when I was offline. Towards the end of it, and this is why I went back online, I was like, I actually love creating. I love creating. It's such a creative outlet for me, my content. Some people do pottery. I do Instagram. Like, it is a creative outlet. And I think it's really healthy if you can see content that way, as a creative outlet and a way for you to share who you are authentically. That's what your personal brand is. So I loved this bit of feedback, because you wouldn't have that experience if you didn't take it away to then realize that, right? And then actually find the joy in doing your content and showing up and building your personal brand on the daily, rather than it feeling like a chore, or rather than it feeling like something you have to do versus something you actually really want to do. Michelle then said, best thing I've ever done. I won't be using my phone for anything business related moving forward. It's all laptop. I have had endless leads and people booking calls through automated platform and sales team. Goes to show how much shit we do on our social media is a waste of time. I have work days and laptop hours now, and it feels incredible to be in my life and not lead by my business. Privacy, holy fuck privacy. I am so happy for this divine timing restructure, because it's made me realize my family comes first and how much harder I was making this by busting my ass all the time. Excited to see the KPI shifts and results now the personal energetic shifts have happened. So this just shows how much you get to be present with the things that really matter to you when you do this reset as well. And then final one, Courtney said, I realized how much time I was wasting. And even though BizWise didn't move forward that much, I was able to really take the time to dive into personal blocks I was having and realize the gaps in my business that I need to work on. It was scary how over the first few days, how often I picked up my phone just cause, and to check, so that it's been nice to do more personal time and get clearer boundaries. I've gotten clear on the direction I want to move forward, especially with bub number 2 due any day now. And it was a really lovely reset. I actually did miss the social aspect of social media, but now I know I definitely need clearer boundaries. So it's so beautiful to have that time, go back, look at look at how you're using social media, look at what needs to change, and look at how can you be, when you're not working, how can you be present with your family, in your life, with yourself, with your thoughts? What new boundaries really need to happen in order for you to have that reset and then go back and it feel really good, and you don't just go back and get into like really bad habits again. So when I went offline earlier this year, it's what led to social media spaciousness, which was the 7-day challenge to get the fuck off your phone, right? And that's what I was just reading from, and some of the tips that I shared with you was from that 7-day challenge. Now, from that, a lot of leaders then said to me, well, I actually want more training on like, how do I get a virtual assistant? How do I find one? How do I brief one? What other systems do you have set up? How do you, get into the mindset of delegation, which to me, I don't know any CEOs that sit around and do everything in their company. They delegate, they lead, they have trust with their team because they have trustworthy team, right? So it's a really big part of running a multi-6-figure business, of leading a team, of leading your absolute dream ideal business. So if you're at that level where you know that you really need to step up your game with delegation and outsourcing and systems, I have actually created a course for it. So I created this course based off the back of more feedback and more out of need, really, out of the need of these people that wanted to learn these things. So the first person that went through literally sent me a message the next day and said, I'm 5 minutes in and I know why I don't have 100K months. It has nothing to do with energetics and mindset. I'm the queen of that. It comes down to my inability to delegate to a VA, surrender control, and use systems that allow me to be in my genius. Time to step into my queen era. Time to delegate. Time to free up time. Time to build a business that has the infrastructure to create 100K months, because the truth is those months weren't happening because I didn't have systems in place to create it. And I just high-fived her virtually. I was like, yes, like it's not energetics and mindset. Like And I did a reel on this. It sometimes, yes, you need to work on your money mindset. This is what this whole podcast is on, is money, right? The energetics, the mindset, all of that, but also the strategy. And if your business is not in a place yet where it can pay you 100K months, it doesn't matter how much energy work you do, you won't earn 100K months. 100K in high ticket sales is 17 sales. Are you doing the things? Do you have the things set up to actually make 17 sales in a month? Probably not, right? And so that's what this course, is really about, is how do you actually set these things up, right? What is the mindset that you need to be in to outsource and not be scared to outsource? And the biggest thing I find from my clients is releasing control. How do you release control and trust that it's not going to impact your results and that you can still receive and, increase your income? What needs to be you versus outsource? Because I don't actually recommend outsourcing and delegating everything. Who, what, how to actually delegate, how to hire a virtual assistant plus a template to brief them with, how to automate your inbox. It's literally my entire ManyChat sequence as a duplicatable link that you can duplicate and then go and create your own. A bonus 90-minute goal setting masterclass to achieve your goals without the hustle and all of the unnecessary work and distraction that's float that I did earlier this year. And then all of the voice notes and the feedback from the container that I held, the social media spaciousness container that I held, the 7-day challenge. So you can go in there and actually listen to them like little bite-sized voice notes to help you actually have a 7-day social media siesta. So I'm very excited to offer this to you. It is usually $97. I'm going to put it up there for $66 just for a special Rich Bitch Era promo. So I'm going to pop it in the show notes for $66 USD. And you can go in there. There's so much in there that will support you in this. My DMs are open on Instagram if you want to ask me any questions on this. But I would say if you are making sales, if you have a team, not if you're a day one person, but if you're making sales, you have a team, you're doing well, but you really want to take this next level, then this is the course for you. It's Delegate to Elevate. It's in Rich Bitch Academy, and I will drop the link in the show notes. So it's been beautiful to be with you. I look forward to hearing how you can elevate your business by stepping into your queen era and allowing yourself to have a team, allowing yourself to have systems, allowing yourself to delegate and be in your zone of genius without having to do everything. So with that said, go and enjoy some spaciousness, and I look forward to hearing from you in my DMs. Please share this in your stories or share this with a queen in your team that you feel would get a lot of value from it. I do pay 30% commissions as well with all of the courses in my academy. And I will see you in the next episode. Thanks, Queen.